Hey, it's Tim. Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome. On this channel, you'll find truck news, SUV reviews, you'll find million-mile truck stories. You even did a whole series on bent truck frames. It's a good time. You need to hit subscribe, click the bell, and smash the like button because we're talking trucks, and trucks are awesome, and you need to stick around. I'm really excited to bring you this interview today. I was able to catch up with Mike Sweers, Toyota's chief engineer for trucks. He does the Sequoia, he does the 4Runner, he does the Tacoma and Tundra. He oversees all those programs. I'd asked him my top 5 questions I get asked on this channel. Yeah, we're talking about Taco in Mexico production. We're talking about FJ Cruiser, talking about 4Runner. We're talking some questions of Toyota Tundra. It's really a cool interview, and I was really fortunate to be able to do it over this time being that it's so weird I can't travel. It's really a strange time. Anyways, I did it on Skype, so I'm going to go ahead and play the interview, and you'll be able to watch the whole thing. And then give me your feedback at the end. Let me know in the comments what I should have asked, what I didn't ask, and we keep following up on these questions you have. So let's go ahead and get started. I will stop rambling. Let's get to this video right now. All right, I'm joined here by Mike Sweers, the head honcho at Toyota who does all the body on frame. He's got some really cool HR name for his job title, but we'll just go with head off-road honcho body on frame guy because that people understand that. So what I'm doing is I have the top 5 questions I get asked on the channel whenever I put a Toyota vehicle up. And we'll kind of just go right into this. So number 1 I get asked all the time, and this was a recent change, was the Tacoma production's moving now to be only in Mexico. If you didn't know, they were building trucks in the Baja plant. Now they're going to Mexico plant. The question I get asked all the time is if you're going to move production of the Taco to Mexico, will that reduce the reliability of the truck because there's concerns about build quality in Mexico?
It's actually the first time I've heard it's moving, so no, just kidding. Absolutely not. So we've run 2 plants on Tacoma. We have our Texas plant and our Baja, Mexico plant. We've been building a lot of trucks out of Mexico for years. The move for us is just meeting market demand and being able to have our full-size trucks in one plant and our compact trucks in 2 other location plants. We're just out of capacity is really the issue.
And so, but the build quality is still going to be at a high level.
Build quality is always at a high level. And what I can say is we started the GT lineup. We just had our grand opening down there, and our GT plant set the record for plant startup quality in North America.
Oh, really?
So if we're worried about quality, the guys down there have done a fantastic job. So that's really having a brand new from greenfield plant and brand new auto workers and just really putting in our TPS, our Toyota production system in there. They set the record. They set the bar for all other plants. So as we look at major changes across all of our plants, that's the new place to try to achieve to beat that GT plant.
Well, that's pretty impressive. All right, so that answers that question. So moving on my list, the Tundra. You do a lot of off-road gear in the Tacoma and 4Runner, but the Tundra doesn't have a rear locker. And it always comes up in my conversations with people about the lack of a rear locker in even the TRD Pro Edition. What's the reasoning behind not having a rear locker?
We haven't had a big demand for the rear locker. So we offer the rear locker on as you mentioned, Taco and 4Runner. Taco and 4Runner, we have a lot more people that are going out to areas like Moab, where rear lockers definitely have a place. Tundra, the full-size trucks, quite honestly, won't get through all the areas in Moab. And we have a lot of customers that use it, use their trucks for other items than going out and rock climbing. The off-road package is done just fine. I guess the best thing I can say about the rear locker is when we launched Pro in 15, we had Ivan Stewart out there. I'm riding the truck with Ivan Stewart sitting in the back seat. We had the media out there for long lead, and that question came up. And Ivan's comment before I could answer why we didn't put a rear locker in there is he asked the question, what do you need a rear locker for? What are you going to use it for? He goes, you're going through the desert. We're doing there's no speed limit, so I can say we're doing 80 through the desert in this TRD Pro. It's doing everything you want it to do in two-wheel drive. And his question is, where are you going to use a rear locker? Now, that's not to say there isn't places to use it, but we just haven't had a big demand for it. So
Sure.
the additional cost, the additional mass in the truck, without having a big demand, I would challenge most of our owners to tell me where they've been short on a rear locker.
Okay, fair enough. Now,
But with that said, if demand comes, we have a big request for it. We're always willing to offer it. We have it. Our Land Cruiser has it. 4Runner has it. Tacoma, we put it in. So it's available in our different rear differentials. So the BD26, we can put one in. It's not a hard thing. It just, again, comes down to a cost of mass versus customer demand.
sure. That brings a question. Is that locker available as like a accessory from your dealerships?
We do not offer as an accessory because it has a tie-in. It's electric locker, so it has to tie into the body ECU.
Okay, sure. Another decision you made recently that became kind of a nerdy insider Tundra decision was about the transmission cooler. Can you discuss why you got rid of transmission cooler? I know we've had this come up, but I thought if I'm gonna do a video with you, I better get this on video. So if you don't know, the 2019 and 2019 going forward, Tundra and Sequoia do not have a transmission cooler.
We took the transmission cooler out, mainly because after additional testing on Davis Dam, we found out that the transmission cooler does reduce the transmission temperature as it's designed to do. But we have so much margin in our cooling system that there's no purpose for it, and it's just adding mass and creating more drag in the vehicle. So we get complaints about fuel economy. We're trying everything we can do to take some of the mass out of the truck without giving up our QDR. With or without the transmission cooler, it's no effect on our towing.
Okay.
So pretty simple as our cooling system is much heavier than our competition's cooling system. We don't put you in any kind of limp mode to allow the engine to cool down during towing. Our cooling system is set to meet all the J2807 requirements without putting any restrictions on speed or capability or power performance coming out of the engine. But that results in a much heavier system. And again, going back and reevaluating that, making sure that we're taking the mass out that we don't need.
Sure, that makes sense. Another question I get asked quite a bit is about the 4Runner. It's one of those vehicles that is pretty iconic for the brand, but it hasn't really been updated in many years. Do you have any sense of where the future is for the 4Runner? Are people going to see something in the future? I know you can't talk future product, but should a 4Runner buyer be pretty excited to see what's coming down the line?
Well, we just did some changes on the 4Runner. We've updated the front end a little bit. We changed multimedia system. There's always small changes going on in the 4Runner. 4Runner is such a iconic vehicle. I love talking to people that own 4Runners. Matter of fact, I have two parked in my driveway right now because of the whole virus situation. I have a bunch of grandkids at my house, and my two daughters are driving 4Runners at this moment. But whenever you talk to somebody about a 4Runner, you get this glow on their face, and they're, oh, my 4Runner, and they get excited about it. It's truly an iconic vehicle. We're always looking to update the vehicle. Maybe things are coming in the future, but where it stands right now, we are making small changes. We've just updated some things in it, changed little things here and there, mainly customer convenience features. But stay tuned. Okay. Better things are coming.
All right, so the last question I have for you, my top 5, because I did 5, and you know what, I'd have 4 already. So the top 5 is, why no FJ Cruiser? Let's settle the debate. Was the FJ Cruiser killed from poor sales, or did Cafe kill the FJ Cruiser? Yes. Okay. And
so it's great. The FJ Cruiser is a highly capable vehicle, and everybody loves what they can't have. But quite honestly, our sales were dropping on the vehicle, and the bigger issue was truly Cafe. The FJ, I probably shouldn't say this, but isn't the most aerodynamic vehicle rolling down the road.
Sure.
And because of that, could we make it more fuel efficient? Absolutely. But we need to change some of the styling. We need to change the vehicle a little bit. The difficulty comes is we weren't selling enough unit to justify a major change. If you're going to spend, $500 to $1 billion on a major change on a vehicle, there's got to be sales to support it. We still sell FJ. We just don't sell it in North America. So in the Middle East, in Japan, FJ is still alive. We're still selling the vehicle. But for North America, once, the funny thing is once we stopped selling it, then everybody wanted one.
Sure.
And if you have one and you've looked at the resale price on a FJ right now, you've made a great investment.
Yeah, because they still are a lot of use. When you go out to Moab, go to places, you see them all over the place. And just so people understand, this CAFE is corporate average fuel economy. In this case, they're doing that on footprint, the size of the vehicle. So I guess the larger vehicle, you have more room for mile per gallon, and the smaller a vehicle, you have less room per mile per gallon.
That's absolutely correct. So footprint being track versus wheelbase, and the curve, the requirement, I don't know, I'm drawing with my finger, but the requirement drops for the larger vehicles. It makes sense because you can't expect, especially a 3/4 1-ton truck, a Class 2B truck, to do well, or even a Class 2A truck, a half-ton truck, to get the same kind of fuel economy that a very short wheelbase vehicle would get, especially a pass car. So we're all on that same curve. The difficulty that we have, of course, is when you get a vehicle that's highly off-road capable, like the FJ, it weighs a ton. And it's not aerodynamic based on the needs of the vehicle and the mechanics of the vehicle. But because of that, lifting a vehicle up in the air, you get a lot of drag underneath it. So keeping approach angles, departure angles, breakover, these things are important for off-roading, but have a horrible effect on fuel economy. And it's really just a casualty of the regulations.
Well, there you go. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it answered a few questions for you, or maybe it caused more questions. I don't know. It's one of those interviews that I'm sure I'll get some feedback on. So go ahead and comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want me to interview somebody else, if you have some other questions, different brands. I'm always open to do that kind of stuff, bring you guys information that you want to know. As always, make sure you find us on pickuptrucktalk.com for more truck and SUV news. Those 3 words work again, Pickup Truck Talk, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Trust me, we're there. I've done it. Type it in, you'll find us. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you down the road.